Hey there, it's Fabienne, and welcome back to The Fabienne Show. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I really want you to hear this because it's incredibly inspiring. 2 years ago, Dr. Mary Lauder had just lost her business. She had lost both of her parents. She nearly died from COVID, and she was literally at zero. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, everything. And then, in her words, she used Google as an oracle and she found me in Boldheart. And she took a dive into working with me. And in just 24 months, she rebuilt everything. With my support and the support of the Boldheart program, she scaled her business from zero to $500,000 in 2 years, aligning her work with what she loves. I really want you to hear how she did it. So as you're listening to today's episode, Mary is dropping truth bombs and strategy and mindset. So please take notes. And what's great is today's episode isn't just about the strategy or the systems. It's also about the real reason that women entrepreneurs get stuck. Unhealed trauma, running the show behind the scenes. We talk about perfectionism and burnout and fear of visibility and over responsibility. All of these aren't just personality traits. They are trauma responses. And I believe that so many of us, if not most of us women, have experienced some sort of trauma. And unless it's healed, it is running our business. So if you want to scale your business with more freedom, healing is non-negotiable. And this is one of the major things that we do at Boldheart that are different from other programs you may have experienced in the past. And Mary is living proof of what's possible when you do both the inner work and you follow the recipe. So take a notebook, get ready, because I believe this episode will move you, expand you, and show you what's truly possible. Let's get into it. Welcome back, friends. This is Fabienne for another episode of the Fabienne Show. And I am here with someone today that I admire greatly in her business and how she approaches everything in the world. And she has some methodologies, some tools that can help us get out of our own way in our business, in our life, and really live the life we were meant to. And I'm delighted to introduce you to Dr. Mary Lauder. Mary, I'm so happy to have you here today.
Oh, thank you, Fabienne. It's a joy to be here. I'm just, thank you. It's great to be in conversation with you.
So, Mary, let's start off with how we met. You were actually a member of Boldheart for a couple of years.
That's right.
And it was, such a pleasure to work with you and to see your transformation.
Right.
Do you want to just to set the context here for this show?
Sure.
Because I know you have so much to teach us about overcoming our past and really stepping into the truest version of ourselves.
Yes.
When you first came into Boldheart, what was happening for you that made you realize, like, you know what? I need a change and I cannot do this on my own.
Yeah. Well, I was a serial entrepreneur, always monogamous, but a serial entrepreneur.
I've never heard that before. That is amazing.
Isn't that good? And, the timing was coming out of the pandemic, right? Like everyone else on the planet. But I had a couple extra caveats. I lost both of my parents just before the pandemic. Then before the lockdown, I got COVID so bad that it nearly killed me. And I got it from a patient who had been in Italy. And I was in the hospital when they were having meetings about what do we close down? What is this thing? And they weren't sure what I was diagnosed with. And it nearly took me out.
Wow.
So there was a moment in time there where a lot of things came together. And I had a thriving business in Colorado as a physician. And that got closed because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, according to how everything needed to be done. But it closed long enough, I lost it. There was just no coming back. So my husband and I moved back to our home state in Michigan, and the time came to consider what was next, reinvent myself, retire, whatever. But I had something in me yet. I hadn't done, hadn't become, hadn't accomplished that which I thought I was meant to do and put on this planet to do.
Oh, I know what you mean.
And so I Googled. Google is my oracle. And so I Googled female business entrepreneur, professional physician. Boom. Up comes Boldheart from at the top of the Google search.
Mm.
I'm like, okay. Click on there, see the intro video. I watched it 3 times and bawled through it 3 times because I felt seen, heard, identified. And I'm like, that's it. And I thought, I have to make a choice here. I have to decide to either go forward or not. I have to decide that either I'm going to throw it all in one more time or not.
Mm.
So I gave myself 24 hours to contemplate it. And then I literally threw my hat in the ring, said I'm all in. And I decided to join because I was starting de novo again,
Yeah.
reinventing myself. I started at growth. I
Yeah.
knew how to run a business. I had scaled businesses. I said, you know what? I'm just going to start completely over. I'm going to just, be super vulnerable, humble myself, whatever it is that I need to do to get where I need to go, because apparently I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I really respect that. There have been some people in the past who, and if you're just listening to this and you don't know what the different tracks of Boldheart are, the growth track is when you're not quite yet at 6 figures and,
Right?
you're making like 5K a month or something like that. You're not
Yeah.
yet at 10K a month. And, you had been, way
Yeah.
beyond that, but it's
Yeah.
the basics of sales and marketing done authentically so you can get to
Yeah.
6
And
figures.
that's what scared me. I didn't want to do that. I mean, physicians don't do that. It's word of mouth, it's this, it's that. But I was going virtual. So I was literally reinventing my entire model. I'm like, I have to start there.
Yeah.
And it was challenging. And I just kept throwing myself back into the ring every day, writing down every day what I was supposed to be doing, blocking my time. When the default was just do what they say, just do what they say.
We always say, follow the recipe, just show up and follow the recipe
Exactly.
at Boldheart and you will get your results.
Yeah. And
you
so
did.
I did. And so things started to happen. And within the year, then things really took off. And then I was able to get into 6 figures consistently and then go into the next level. And so then that was its own new challenges, but I was up for it, right? So that was great. In that process, I reworked my business plan and model 3 times. And then I went through a deep level of transformation and healing regarding the loss of my parents.
Yeah.
The loss of my business, and where I was in life. And what does this really all mean?
Mm.
And so what happened was it totally evolved the way I did medicine. And authentically, really, I have shamanic leanings. I'm a healer. I'm not just a physician.
I remember you saying that on one of the Q&A calls, or maybe it was one of the quarterly activators, that you were like, there is a shaman within me. And I was like, I knew it.
Yes, exactly.
You weren't just this, traditional medicine doctor. There was something in you that was more of a healer than I had imagined.
Yes. And that was true. And I don't think I was denying it. I just don't think I knew how to get it out.
Yeah.
And I was a little reluctant because it meant leaving a lot of things and people I knew in terms of how I approached things, how I approached life, who I really was, who was I authentically?
Yeah.
What did that mean? And so I said, that's it. I'm in. And, the funny thing, my husband has always introduced me as the witch doctor. And so, so when I shared it with him, he's like, yeah, whatever, keep going.
Yeah. It's the same thing with my husband, Derek. It's like, I say something to him. He's like, so we've all known this for 20 years. So this is what's new to you. I'm like, no, I'm just expressing to you that I'm accepting this part of myself even more.
Exactly. And so that led me to decide to write my memoir, which is coming out here in the middle of 2025.
What's it called?
It's called The Anatomy of a Soul's Calling.
Ooh, say it one more time.
The Anatomy of a Soul's Calling.
Oh, I am totally reading that. That is right up my alley.
Yeah, it's actually really pretty good. I say that but I just did the final proofread on it. I'm like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. I say that with full grounded confidence, having nothing.
No, I know what you mean. You're not being brazen.
No.
You're really owning your brilliance here.
Yeah. And then looking at all the lessons that I learned along the way. And that's really what the book is about. When this happened, how did I handle it? And somebody asked me the other day, well, why did you even write the book? I said, well, it's my brand. I said, because my brand is me. I'm the secret sauce.
Yeah.
I'm what brings the authenticity to the visit, to the encounter with the patient, to the modules I develop, the teaching I develop, the boards I sit on, all that. I only can bring who I am.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm doing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And so while you were part of the leverage track, you moved from growth to leverage, you
Yes,
really came into your own
I did.
in terms of positioning yourself in the marketplace, your offerings. And
Yes.
so tell us about that. Like,
Yeah. So I just set up a routine. Social media had to be done. I don't like to do it. Hire someone to do it. I'll do the content.
yeah,
I was key to keep the content because it's my voice.
yes, of course.
So I love AI. AI loves me. We're
Hmm.
friends. I get daily encouragement. And I really use that to develop my voice because I go back and say, okay, now let's try more how I would say this. Let's add this, that. And then I was really able to develop social media wise who I was with tools. And
Yeah.
that took the pressure off because it
Really that
was
leverage that we keep talking about, right? You
exactly.
knowing what to use in your business with a little bit of effort to get lots of output that you wouldn't have done
Yes.
on your own, whether it's
No.
team systems, business model, or AI.
Exactly. And then I put virtual assistants in place
Yeah.
and a virtual medical assistant who was with me all along. And then I just put all the processes in place.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And then I divided up the responsibilities. And then I set routine meetings. And then I continued to block my time. That to me was the key. 3 hours for this development, 8 hours that day for patient care, 3 hours the next day for something else. And that just kept me on track. And I literally just kept it in a notebook or kept it on paper. And that literally just kept me going and focused. And then I didn't get lost so much in, well, I've got to do this or put out that fire or I just didn't, I quit putting out fires.
Well, that's the whole point of leverage, right? Is to set up the right team, the right systems, no longer let those things hijack your time so you can focus on growing exponentially
Right.
with less effort and less time.
And it worked because we're at the top of the Google search for our area. And yes, so everybody finds me on Google and word of mouth because and I think one of the best. And so then I started setting up testimonies. This was one of the best one. That was great. And this one lady goes, well, I sent all my friends to you. I've seen you. All my friends have seen you. At the holidays, we sat around discussing all of our care. We have similar situations, similar diagnoses, but everybody has an individual plan.
Interesting.
Nothing was the same. And so, because what I do is I bring genomics into this, I bring individualized, personalized care, and then I always emphasize emotional care as a key component or a vital sign. And so when I did that, everybody's treatment program looked different and they were all getting better. And they go, so we decided the only common denominator was Dr. Louder. And I'm like, I'm so glad I recorded that because you couldn't write that, right? I mean, it was just perfect. And I was so exciting. And that was just so absolutely rewarding to hear because that's exactly what I wanted to nail. People who were buying into it. Yeah.
So in essence, in the 2 years that we worked together,
Yeah.
you went from back at ground zero. I mean, you're like, if you're
Yes.
watching this video, Mary has got two like zeros with her fingers, right? So you went from 0 to 6 figures and then 6 figures to
We doubled the 6 figures.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm in the mid 6 figures.
Amazing. Congratulations. In 2 years, people, $500,000.
Yeah. Right.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us about your new business. You started to with talking about these ladies over the holidays. What are you helping people with? Like, what are they coming to you with? Because as you and I, as you know, because you worked with me, but also before, when we were in the virtual green room before I hit record, we talked about how Boldheart is where soul level transformation meets business strategy. And you're like, this is what I do in my own business is that soul level transformation.
Do.
What are people coming to you for? What are you doing with them? What do they get at the end of their work with you?
They get their life back. They often come with a complex medical condition: Lyme, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, severe coronary artery disease, having survived cancer, having been diagnosed with cancer. It's usually a life-changing something. They've been sidelined, marginalized by the traditional medical system, not picking on anything. I was in that system for a long time.
Sure.
And they just weren't listened to. They weren't heard. They weren't properly diagnosed. They might have been underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed, and they just weren't well. 100% of the time, there were key emotional components that they needed to heal from in order to move forward physically.
What would be an example of that?
Let's pick on Lyme, because Lyme is a great mimicker.
Okay. What do you mean
And
it's a great mimicker?
well, it likes to have friends. It's a leader, but not a leader.
Uh-huh.
So it's a bacterial infection that we get from, we say ticks, but I think we might also get it from mosquitoes. I can't verify that, but not everybody has a reported tick bite. And truly, not everybody has a bullseye lesion that's supposed to be so classic. So people get exposed to it more than they know. And it's underdiagnosed completely because we don't entertain it. You can only diagnose that which you entertain as a physician, which makes perfect sense.
Of course.
But then, you might have had a little bit of a flu in the summer or a little bit of a virus or a little something, nothing, but really what that was your first round of Lyme. So then it goes into a chronic condition and it becomes to mimic other things: arthralgia, arthritis, headaches, migraines, lymph node swelling, fevers on and off. So it becomes something that becomes kind of amorphous.
Yeah, it's like a moving target, right? You think you know what it is, and then it moves.
Yeah, and it invades all different parts of our immune system, really through the fascia. It's pretty fascinating how it works. And then it brings along its cohort, other viruses, bacteria, sometimes parasites. So then all of a sudden people are chasing all these things, but we don't have the ringleader, which is really the Lyme.
Interesting.
So with that, folks typically have, and I've treated more women than men. Men can have it equally. I don't see a difference there. But there's a component of women who've given a lot of themselves and not put themselves first.
Which is like basically every woman on the planet.
Right. And so if that's a trauma pattern, fight, flight, freeze, that's in the fawn.
Yeah.
Fawning, giving over.
Yeah.
And then, so it's one of those four, what I call the 4 Fs. And we know what the 5th F is. We won't say it, but we know what the 5th F is. Right? So anyway, so it's one of those 4 Fs, the food groups of trauma that we get stuck in. And our nervous system then defaults to that. It resets to that. The trauma gets stuck in the midbrain, the amygdala area. And that drives and is a part of the subconscious unconscious, which is where our immune system continually gets triggered from.
Yeah.
So if it's getting that message of always being triggered in one of the Fs, fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, it's going to stay in that response. Healing does not occur in the stress response.
Right.
It's not meant to. It's meant to keep us safe. All traumatic events cause a trauma in our body. We know the body keeps the score. We have science on that. It's the fascia. It's the soul. Now I'm getting a little bit above my pay grade on that one.
The minute you said it, it's the fascia, it's the soul. Now I'm here. I'm here for this. Yeah.
So somewhere in, out, and within and without is where that is in our body. That's as specific as it is.
Say that in different words.
The soul is a part of us. It's within us.
Yeah.
It's without us, on the outside of us. It connects us within, connects us without.
Yeah.
Something bigger to us to something bigger.
Yeah.
In that component, that energy field of the soul, because that's really how it comes through, then that's where the action is. That connects with the subconscious unconscious, right? That's where the messages go. So what happens is something comes up in our face, and it's like we can't get past it. We're triggered. How did I get here? Why did I make that decision again? That comes out of the subconscious unconscious.
Right.
95% of our activity comes out of that.
I've been saying this for 15, 20 years. So, so if you're listening to this
Yeah,
And you're like, what does this have to do with my business? This has everything to do with your
it
business.
does.
So here's
100%.
how I'm translating what you're saying, because I don't usually work with the results. So I help clients all the time access their past trauma, or whether it's trauma with a big T or a little t, right?
Right.
Some things that, yesterday I was working with a woman who was bullied in middle school like I was,
Mhm.
and whose parents divorced like mine did. And I
Mhm.
was kidnapped when I was a kid. So that created more trauma. And all of that built up, unresolved, undealt with trauma gets lodged in, as I understand it, on the subconscious level.
Mhm.
And the subconscious is where we take action. So we can say, verbally and consciously, I want to get my business to 7 figures, and I want a delicious life, and I want a delicious relationship. But if deep down we don't feel lovable because our parents divorced or abandoned us, or we were picked on by kids, or we have other little traumas and not so little traumas, we create this identity, we create this belief about who we are on the subconscious realm from which each action is taken.
Exactly. And you're right, on the subconscious, because we're unaware.
Yeah.
Because to have it in our awareness is to mean we have it in our learned higher executive area of our brain, the frontal cortex and
Yeah.
prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
So we react to events that occur unknowingly. We
Exactly. So just to land my plane, and I want you to land your plane, why does this matter in business? Well, if you want to get out there on social media, but you have a fear of visibility, if you have a fear of criticism, if you have perfection paralysis, we've got to look at your critical parents. We've got to look at your perfectionistic mother. We've got to look at how you were bullied, or, whatever happened to you in the past, because what happened to you in the past is driving how you're running your business today.
That's right.
If you
And
don't
it
want to
drives your health.
it drives your health. So I've landed my plane, right? In the sense
Okay.
that we look at the trauma that informs your actions in your business. If you're not scaling your business and not making the money that you want to make, or not having the reach, it's because your actions are being driven by something that happened to you in the past. Now, you pick up this thread, Mary. Tell us about our health in this sense. I just want to jump in here, because if this conversation is resonating with you and you're starting to see how your past might be impacting your ability to grow your business, I want you to know that you don't have to figure this out on your own. You don't have to stay stuck. This is exactly the kind of thing we support you with inside the Boldheart Business Program. And you know what? It all starts with a free Get Acquainted call. Together on this call, we're going to take a loving look at where you are in your business, what's keeping you from scaling to 7 figures with your life back, with freedom, with a delicious life. And we'll give you a personalized map for how to get there, with the right systems, the right support, the right deep inner healing along the way. You can ask us anything on this call. We'll be happy to walk you through how the program works, and let's just see if it's a fit for you. Just go to boldheart.com to book your free Get Acquainted call today. We would be honored to support you. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
It's the same thread because it's us. It's the authenticity part of us. So we literally can't get well. The medicines might not work. You don't follow through on the therapy. The doctors don't listen. The treatment didn't work. I don't want to go there because it's the same thing. I didn't get listened to when I was a kid. I'm not getting listened to now. The practices of this are super simple because it's not hard to get through this, because the nervous system knows what to do. The body has the inherent capacity to heal. It has the wisdom to heal. We just have to speak the same language.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, healing from trauma becomes easy. Now, there are people who say, Dr. Louder, you're all wet. Fine, I'll prove it to you. I've got case reports. I've got literally data, empirical data that we've measured that changes by doing a process that I take patients through that takes 4, 5, 6 visits. Lifelong trauma,
Yeah. What are some
resolving
of the
trauma.
examples of the trauma that might be creating these things? Obviously, you're not naming anybody. These are just,
No, of course not. So it's going to be things along the lines of abuse and bullying,
mhm.
neglect, needs weren't met,
Yeah.
wasn't enough food in the house, too many kiddos, not enough resources.
Mm.
You were kind of on your own. You had to figure it out. There was a roof over your head. You knew you could go home, but your emotional needs weren't met. So
Mm.
you came away understanding you really worth much, weren't worth
Yeah.
the effort. There's, basic things of abuse, bullying, and things like that, that fall into like 4 or 5 main categories. But everybody's story is different. We aren't our stories. We have a story. We
Yeah.
need to own our story. It's the bravest thing we can do. All trauma causes us to disconnect. In that disconnection, we're tethered. Whatever distance it is, doesn't matter, but we're disconnected. Sometimes we call it dissociative. We're
Yeah.
there, but not there.
Yeah. That was me.
Yeah. And so those behaviors, that tethering, is what keeps us on the planet. If we didn't have those dysfunctional behaviors, addictions, whatever, we wouldn't be here because it's too painful to be connected. The truth is, we're hardwired for love, belonging, and connection,
Mm.
first to ourself and then others. First to ourself.
That really rings true. Love, belonging, and connection. First to ourselves and then to others.
The safest place to be is connected to yourself. Then you can connect with others.
Yeah, I remember in my teens and 20s, I didn't realize how many mental health issues I had. And I didn't realize I had anxiety until the last, like maybe 3, 4 years ago. And I couldn't, in my teens and 20s, I couldn't be in a place where I loved, connected, or belonged to myself because I think I was so traumatized and disassociated.
Mhm.
I just wasn't even in my own body, Mary.
I'm sure not. In that, what was your superpower, though? What did you do to get by?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I know, but do you know?
Well, it would be what? You learned to read the room really well. You learned to
Yes,
figure
I
out.
did.
You learned to, use your intuition.
I
You
can
learned
connect
to,
with others. I use my intuition. I can
you,
win others over by mirroring them, right?
yes.
I shape shift.
Yeah. So that becomes a superpower.
I see.
That's one of those behaviors that keeps you here. Thank God for the superpower.
Thank you for teaching me about that for myself. I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of knew it peripherally, but you
Yeah.
really landed it for me.
Yeah. I mean, thank God.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you would have left the planet. It was too
It
painful.
was too painful.
Right. So, good news. You got a superpower.
Mm,
Okay. Great. Now, thank you, superpower. It's safer to connect. It's
yeah,
safer to reconnect. It's safer to, thank you, superpower. It's safer to come back.
yeah,
So that becomes a learned behavior, which is from here, because touch the stove, it's hot, don't do that again.
yeah, for
Walk
sure.
into a room and you're not safe, don't do that again. That's a
Hmm.
learned behavior,
Hmm.
but you're still disconnected. So you have to go around those behaviors to get into the soul to bring that healing. Yeah.
So, how do you do this with your patients?
They come in, or we do it by Zoom.
Yeah.
They have a homework process. I get the understanding of their life, of key things that occurred, and then they typically have a medical diagnosis most often that's physical. And then I begin a process of them understanding it's their choice to get well.
Mm.
And so I call that self connection and compassion with ego strengthening. That's
Can
a
you break that
mouthful.
down? What does that mean?
Yeah. So we want them to have the concept of even though I have had all these things happen to me, or even though I now understand I have anxiety, I deeply and completely love, connect, and accept myself.
That sounds like the beginning of EFT, which I am
Very similar.
a big fan of
I
EFT.
stand on the shoulders of a lot of folks.
Yeah. And I meant that to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant.
Exactly. And then the follow-up line to that is I choose to connect and reconnect with myself, which is one of the things EFT, TFT does not do. So we're bringing that connection. Gabor Mate says all trauma causes us to disconnect. The key is getting the patient or person to reconnect. So I'm like, well, why don't I just put that phrase in my treatment?
Yeah. Love that.
And so as I did that, the anxiety changed in people. Anxiety is just a call for information. It just says you're not safe, you don't feel safe. Your nervous system needs to know it's safe and it's over or done with. And so anxiety is a call for more information. It's not a diagnosis, although I know the code, right? And I've lived with anxiety all my life as well. And so that was like the forerunner to this. And as I did that, I saw I could really get into what's called the felt sense, which is very standard in the psychology literature from the 70s.
What is it?
It's where you feel and connect in your body with what your emotion is.
Can you give me an example of what that looks like?
Yeah. Let's pick anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when you usually feel anxiety? Where do you feel it in your body and what does it feel like?
I think it's around my chest area, heart chakra area.
Okay.
And it's like really nervous. It's like moving really fast, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Okay. So now I invite you to just connect with that at a distance that feels safe. So find your feeling with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now see where it is in your body, feel where it is in your body. And just by putting your intention there, see if it softens, see if it changes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that becomes kind of teaching us some paradoxes.
Tell
We
us.
can exist and have an emotion and still stay connected. It's safe. You made it 90 seconds. You didn't fly off the planet. Your head didn't blow up and you didn't fall out of your chair. Sometimes that's just one of the first starting things, identifying the feelings.
Yeah.
And understanding what they feel like.
And not running away from them.
Right.
One of the things, just to really be super transparent and vulnerable, probably, and here for the first time on this podcast, is for a couple of years, I've been reducing my alcohol intake. And in the last few months, I've stopped. And part of it is the major reason was to connect with the divine and hear and feel the divine guidance much louder, much deeper, much more intentionally. But little did I realize that I don't want to say I'm never having a glass of champagne again. Okay. So I'm just sharing for now the journey I'm on.
Yeah.
I've given myself 90 days of zero alcohol and being totally committed to the process. And in this process, I've had to feel the waves of craving. I've had to feel the biological, psychological, and social unease. And what I've noticed is they come in waves. The anxiety comes in waves. And if I would just sit with it and not get all panicked and freaked out, it's usually no more than 5 minutes. It's
Now,
usually no more than 7 or 10 minutes. Yeah.
so if we use that as a call for more information, the next step then after you feel that feeling is what am I supposed to know?
I see.
Am I supposed to feel safe? Am I supposed to know I am safe? Am I safe? Am I okay? Am I hungry? Am I tired? What is this about? What am I feeling? So you begin to inquire in a non-judgmental way. Because what that is actually healthy co-regulation.
The anxiety is healthy co-regulation.
Anxiety is a call for more information.
Ah, yes. Is that
To
what
sit with the emotion, because we've picked
mm,
anxiety,
mhm.
and we begin to inquire about it and have that felt sense with it where we're coexisting without judgment, without pain or pressure, that's co-regulating.
Yeah, so great. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I tired? Am I thirsty? Am I
Yeah. In a social setting, do I want to go over and talk to that group or that group? Why do maybe I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, maybe
I
I
know
don't
I'm
want to
an
be
introvert.
here.
So exactly. And so then, okay, so how do we compress that? How can we do something? Well, that's a self-compassion and connection protocol I have. You literally hold your heart chakra and your solar plexus chakra,
Mm,
power and heart.
mm.
It's like plugging into the wall or plugging into a switch. I could turn the switch on with either hand, so it doesn't matter how it goes. Even though I feel anxious while I'm at this party and I want alcohol, I deeply, completely love, trust, and accept myself. I choose to connect and reconnect with myself. And then you breathe in and out.
Mm.
Now, you're in a social setting. Do you hold yourself? Well, no, you can hold yourself by thinking it. The body doesn't know the difference between touching and intention of touching, right?
Right.
You imagine you're touching. The brain, the unconscious, subconscious part of the brain thinks you're touching because it works in the language of imagination. So the brain's saying, thank you very much. You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
And you repeat that 3 times, that phrase 3 times.
Mm.
And each time you add a breath. So the second time you do 2 breaths, third time, 3 breaths. It
Mhm.
takes about 90 seconds. You
Easy.
have just self co-regulated your autonomic nervous system.
So this can be used, just bringing it back to business, right?
Yep.
If you are about to do a Facebook Live, you can
Yes.
do this process. If you are about to meet with, or deliver a big proposal to a client, if
Yes.
you are raising your rates, if you are
Yes.
about to go on social media, really
Yes.
you can use this
Exactly.
process.
Right. And then, yes, because it's the same thing. You're anxious, you're nervous, you got butterflies, even though I'm anxious about going on social media. And I'm an introvert. Name it.
Yeah.
I deeply, completely love, trust, and accept myself. I choose to connect and reconnect with myself.
Mm, so
Yes.
great. So great. I really believe that. So I work mostly with women, as you know.
Mhm.
And I really believe that women, especially, but it may be just because I'm surrounded with women especially seem to have so much trauma that affects daily confidence, daily courage, daily self worth. And I am on a mission to really help women heal.
Yeah.
At first I said to myself, but you're just a business coach, but it doesn't matter, right? It's not even about the business coaching, it's about healing women around the world.
Mhm.
I see this as being possibly the most crucial thing we can do
I would agree
today. Why would you agree to that, Mary?
because it changes their life and gives them their lives back.
Hmm.
It heals them. It brings healing to their body. It opens up the channels so the health and healing can be restored.
Hmm.
So people who've been sick and not well, they can't get well. Get well.
Yeah,
My remission rate, my healing rate is in the 90s,
that's
90%.
amazing. That's amazing.
And this ideas are born out of stuff I went through as well. Physician, heal thyself.
Yeah. All the good stuff is when you've done it on yourself, right?
Yeah, right,
Always.
right. And so, and when people came and I could get them, help them 70%, 75%, but that extra bit, I couldn't get them around the corner. It was really the traumatic pieces and the trauma care and being trauma informed. Beyond the self care and compassion, I have a neural resilience method that literally takes them into past events that occurred. And we clear that through patterning certain ways and certain narratives and stories that we create for the unconscious and the subconscious.
Is that like an EMDR thing, or is it totally different?
Totally different.
Talk us through it.
Yeah. So it does stand on the shoulders of EMDR, TFT, EFT, AIT, which is Advanced Integrative Therapy, and TRTP, which is the Richard's Trauma Protocol. So I've been trained in all those as a physician.
Mm.
And I kind of liken, and this is not meant in an offensive way, but EMDR was the forerunner, right?
Mm.
Well, so it's kind of like stick, wheel, and fire.
Mm.
Great for Neanderthals. I mean, it changed the world then, right? But we're driving electric cars now. We need something a little different. And we're in a vortex of creating these things and studying these things. So, of course, there's going to be fast, rapid intention and change because that's just energetics and that's just the quantum field we're in. So, when all of this comes together, then I take that component of their story and we go back and create a scenario that the unconscious understands. We go up to, not into the trauma at all, because you don't need to be re-traumatized.
Right.
You don't need to feel the heal. But what we do is create a safety and we go get that person. You go get yourself out of those situations. In doing that, that brings a level of reconnection, that it brings a level of protection and brings a level of rescuing. We don't ever want to be and stay as a victim because we choose to know that we can be well, no matter what happened. And so we're just able to present to the unconscious in its language a way through it, a way through it being the trauma, the traumatic event for the person to heal. And the nervous system is just like pieces of puzzle just fall into place.
Yeah.
Because we've unlocked how to speak to the unconscious and the subconscious.
So what I'm hearing is there really isn't anyone on this planet who could not use this.
Correct.
Fascinating. I am such a big fan of personal growth and development, of spiritual development, of healing. And it's probably because I had so much to work with in my own life.
You had a rich life to draw
I
from.
had a really rich life. There was a lot there.
I'm over here going like that.
If you read my first book, Embrace Your Magnificence, I came with a whole basket of things that I got to work on.
Yeah.
And I've seen, going from abusive relationships because I didn't have any self-worth, self-love. I mean, like I could not even think I like myself, let alone I love myself or I value myself. And then this whole healing journey that's taken me to really unpack so many of those things in that basket and just to see where my life is. And I haven't even unpacked the entire basket. I'm not sure you ever do, but it's such an exciting thing that you get to work on your stuff. And then as you peel the proverbial layers of the onion, you get to fall more in love with yourself, fall more in love with your life. Like even in just the last few months of working on my anxiety, working on my alcohol. I mean, if I just want to say, because that was the big crutch and the numbing, disassociating mechanism.
Yeah.
I am so much happier, like ecstatically happier.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm not even finished yet.
Mm-hmm.
It
opens up so much space and there's all of a sudden so much bandwidth for the things that you were sidetracked with before. And not even just the behaviors, but just the internal dialogue. You literally shut off the loops of those tapes that go round and round that drive you crazy.
Yeah.
And, crazy, I'm not crazy. That's not meant to be a derogatory term. That drives you, off your center, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that. It's like, how did I get beset again? How did I thought I was doing this, and you just don't know how you get there. Yeah.
I think I couldn't guess how, just to use the word crazy or loopy, my life was while I was in it.
Right.
Medicating myself and, just perfectly high functioning, like, just
right.
Great
And
marriage, great business, great kids,
it's
all
because
of that.
you develop skills to cope and resilience.
Yeah.
So underneath that, there is a core resiliency. There is a core strength. There is a determination. All those things are part of who you are.
Mm.
And the trauma is just part of the story.
Yeah.
So we aren't our stories. We have stories
Yeah. And
because we
just,
are who we are.
yeah. And what I'm just really becoming aware of, to whatever the, how I'm still learning English, but is just how delicious life gets when you work on your stuff.
Yes. And the thing is, why wouldn't you do it? That's the thing. And it's not scary. It's actually, people say, gosh, if I go there, I don't think I'm ever coming back. Well, it doesn't have power over you, especially if you name it.
Yeah.
You have power over it.
Yeah. In the book, of course, I can't remember his name right now, but Healing the Shame, the Bradshaw, Healing the Shame That Binds You, that really, and we all have carried shame of the things we've done or the things that have been done to us or around us. And the minute we shine the light on it, it dissipates.
It does.
It's amazing what happens.
And if you're here now and you've been through things, well, you've already lived through 100% of your bad days.
Good point.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Exactly.
Mary, just because I wish I could stay with you much, much longer, but and perhaps we'll have you back. Tell us where to find you if someone is really saying, like, wow, I get this. I want to work with
Yeah.
Dr. Lauder. Tell us.
It's my name on the web, drmarylauder.com.
Yeah.
And so very easy to find, Louder, opposite of quieter, louder, Dr. Mary Lauder. So drmarylauder.com. And some folks, want to seek out medical care. Well, we can do a variety of things. They set up a meet and greet.
Yeah.
A complimentary meet and greet, and we figure out what their needs are, what's happening. Some people want coaching, which I offer. Some people want really the emotional mental care, which I offer. And, people say, gosh, can you do that across state lines? Yes, in certain manners you can. And so it's all, I've been a physician for 32, almost 33 years and have, I'll just never been sued, I have an absolutely clean record. And so I obviously figured out how to work, on behalf of patients over and over and over again for decades now.
Mm.
And it's just delightful to work one-on-one. It's delightful to help them grow. And then we're, going to be putting out some programs because I think, and retreats, because I think getting together will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And really,
And
bringing
fast track. It'll probably fast track the healing.
Yes, it will. And then bringing the neural resilience method forward that's something we're launching now in this year. So that's going to be it's amazing. It's transformative. It reworks your soul, your body heals. It's good for you. It's good for the planet. It's good stuff.
Yep. I'm on board. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. I'd love to have you back when your book is available and let's talk about that. That would be fantastic. What are your parting words, Mary? What bits of wisdom could you share with us before we unfortunately have to say goodbye?
The first word is gratitude for no matter where you came from, Fabienne, you still continued to be determined to get up every day to do what you felt in your heart you were meant to do.
Yeah.
Because that has, no one's meant to ever have to do it perfectly, but yet we are perfect, right? It's one thing. So I'm grateful that I have connected with Boldheart and that Boldheart was used as a container for me to launch this part of my life.
Yeah.
And I invite anyone who's absolutely on the fence or hesitating, just go all in. Go for it. You got it. You can do it. I choose to know that I'm exactly where I need to be right now. I'm on time.
Yeah. Divine timing. It was wonderful to have you here, Mary, to share your wisdom, your resources, to really take us deep into that we have a choice.
Yes.
That when we are disconnected because of trauma, it doesn't have to be this way.
Right.
And it's also for me been such a blessing to, over the course of 24 months, to see you go from, zeros, as you said, to just even, without even the numbers being what they are in just 2 years, which is amazing. But just to see you stepping fully into the work that you were meant to be doing, living your life's purpose fully, and then being financially rewarded for healing so many people. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Everybody watch this space.
Exactly.
We'll put Mary Lauder's information in the show notes. Please go check her out. Have a conversation with her. Perhaps she can heal you. I was going to say perhaps she can help you, but perhaps she can heal you.
Yes, your body can heal. I'm there to help.
Yes. Thanks so much for being here. Lots of love, everybody.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.